Yo, what is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. Let's start today's video off with a recent update from Mr. Olympia Derek Lunsford, and the lats, the traps, the rear delts, the entire back of Derek Lunsford is just absolutely insane. And looking at this update and knowing that Derek is gonna basically have a full year off come this year's Mr. Olympia, I do not see why Derek Lunsford would not shock us once again. For the past 2 years, Derek has just been getting better and better and pretty much bringing shocking physiques to the stage and even to the Pittsburgh Pro guest posing. Looking at this update, I don't think this year is going to be any different. I'm not going to make an early prediction about who's going to win this year's Olympia because, as you guys know, I'm also a big fan of Hadi Chupin, but I will say this, I do think we're going to see the best Derek we've ever seen at this year's Olympia. But let me know in the comment section below any early predictions for Derek Lunsford. Now, in the next update of the day, we have a recent update from the mutant Nick Walker under 4 weeks out from the New York Pro. And Nick is just getting grainier and grainier by the week. Nick's waist also looks pretty good here as well. But going into this year's New York Pro, I wonder what is the game plan for Nick Walker and Matt Jansen. Nick always brings crazy conditioning, but at the 2023 Arnold Classic, Nick came in very conditioned but lost a lot of size in the legs. I wonder if it's possible that Nick will not come in as conditioned and maybe come in a little bit more full. But knowing Nick Walker, he probably just comes in absolutely peeled. But he will be next to a guy like Martin Fitzwater that has massive quads, and not saying that Martin can beat Nick from behind, but he can definitely hold his own. But even if Nick Walker comes in a little bit more conditioned, a little bit more full, I still think he will be going home with the New York Pro title. But just curious because he did lose a lot of size in the legs back at that 2023 Arnold Classic, and arguably that's what cost him the title to Samson Dowda. And let's switch over to Good Vito. The update on the left is the most recent, and the update on the right was after the Detroit Pro. And even though Vito just made his pro debut not too long ago, I think we can already make the case for Vito possibly having the best lower body development from behind in the IFBB. But we have to see him next to Nick Walker, of course. But this is absolutely insane in this rear lat spread. But as of right now, Good Vito has not put out any competition plans going forward, and just kind of looking through his Instagram, it sounds like to me he's probably going to shut it down for the rest of the year because he's constantly saying there's still a lot of work to be done. But that wouldn't be a bad idea. I think Vito can definitely qualify for the Mr. Olympia and get a good placing. But as I've mentioned before, he does another show. He does the Mr. Olympia. The Mr. Olympia will be his 4th show of the year, and the guy just made his pro debut. But I wouldn't be surprised if Vito maybe hops into a later show like a Prague Pro to qualify for next year's Olympia. But let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys think? And let's switch over to Carlos Thomas Jr., who recently posted up some very impressive updates. We were supposed to see Carlos at the 2024 Arnold Classic Brazil, but Carlos actually lost his brother prior to the show and decided to pull out. Condolences goes out to Carlos' family. But he's looking pretty good now. Judging off his conditioning, I don't think he's going to be competing soon like the New York Pro. The width of Carlos in this front lat spread is just insane. Carlos Thomas and Good Vito have insane width throughout the clavicles. Very excited to see what this guy's going to bring to the stage, and hopefully it's going to be this year and hopefully very, very soon. Now, Carlos definitely still needs to work on the back, but honestly, he pulls off a good rear lat spread. The back double is really his only bad pose. And I don't want to pick on anyone else, but we do have a couple of guys in the top 10 at the Mr. Olympia that don't necessarily have the best back. And I only say that because some people act like Carlos not having the best back double is the end of the world, but it isn't. Now, in the next update of the day, we have a recent guest posing from James Hollingshead and also some news. James Hollingshead is now being coached by Boss of Outlaw. I'm actually surprised that a coach would take on James at this point. No offense to James, of course, but just from the past 2 years, it seems like James isn't really coachable and is liable to kind of just go off and do his own thing at any moment like he did to Milos. But James is looking pretty impressive here, and one thing I like about him, his attitude is different from the past year or so. Seems like James was somewhat down on himself, but within the past year, his mindset is a lot better. So I'm actually hoping that James brings a great package whenever he decides to hop on stage. And again, James was kind of just prepping to see what he can do with his body. He never actually ended up doing a show. but he could have hopped into the Detroit Pro. It would have been nice to see him there. And let's switch over to William Bonac, who recently posted up some updates. And Bonac did announce that his first show of the year will be the M-Pro Classic. We should be seeing Beirut's Tabani there, and Michael Krizo should also be defending his title. And I'm not sure about you guys, but it looks like to me that Bonac has at least slightly revived his physique. I'm not saying he looks like 2018 or 2019, but definitely looks a lot better than the past month or two. And also, I cannot remember the last time I've been able to see William Bonac's abs this clearly. Whatever he's doing with Boss of Outlaw, they're definitely doing a great job, and I'm excited to see what Bonac can bring to the stage. He's a guy that has been counted out before and managed to come back out on top, so let's see how he does this year. Now let's switch over to Hassan Mostafa, who recently posted up an update, and Hassan will be competing in this year's Toronto Pro. Akeem Williams will also be there as well. And I've noticed with Hassan's recent post, he's been tagging Dorian Hamilton, so I guess he is now working with Dorian and no longer working with Chad Nichols. And I find that to be interesting. Chad brought Hassan in his absolute best at last year's Vancouver Pro. Maybe because Dorian is a little bit closer, it works better for Hassan. Now let's switch over to Charles Griffen, currently the 10th best bodybuilder in the world. Charles has been posting some small updates, but not many as far as physique updates. And last year, Charles had a tough year, tore a pec. I believe he also had some issues in his personal life, and he still managed to be top 10 at the Mr. Olympia. But Charles will not be competing this year. He's going to take the year off and just focus on bringing the chest back up, and I think that's a great idea. Now in the next update of the day, we have a recent update from Patrick Moore, a rare update from Patrick Moore. This guy rarely posts any recent updates, but it looks like he has definitely added some size, which is the main thing he's been critiqued for pretty much his entire career. He hasn't announced what show he's going to do or if he is going to do a show, but I would assume he's going to do a show this year, and I'm going to throw out an early prediction with the Tampa Pro. He's usually a guy that likes to hop into the Cali Pro as well, but it doesn't look like he's really in striking distance of a show. But let's see what Patrick Moore brings to the stage this year. Aesthetics are in style in men's open bodybuilding right now. But let's go ahead and wrap up today's video here with the archive of the day. You guys let me know in the comment section below, who is this bodybuilder? And as always, I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video. And if you have not done so already, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Christian from Go Fitness, and that's it. I'm out.